Hey guys and girls, Mark here from SeaWorld Earth, and this week I have come up with a plan of how you, me and everyone who gives a shit can save the world. Now please don't take this as a message of doom and gloom, because it's far from that. In fact, I think it could be a solution. Now, as I was a young man growing up in the south coast of the UK, it just seems back then there was just so much wildlife, so many wild spaces around, so much more than today. We'd find hedgehogs on a daily basis almost. You'd just see deer everywhere, badgers, foxes and the like, which are in very short demand in the UK by all accounts in the modern age. And it just seems, unfortunately, that our planet is being taken down this massively destructive path by the massive corporations that seem now to be in charge of everything, and who call the shots, especially with regards to politics, etc., etc. But this is not a political rant at all. Unfortunately, I don't have much hope for the future of our young children. With the way the world's going, with the massive population increases that are just going up through the roof, global warming, the climate problems, and just the shortage of food and water and resources that we're even starting to see to this day. As a father, I have two children. I have a daughter in the UK who is a writer, and with me living here in Okinawa, I have a son, 9-year-old Joshua, complete monster. But I despair for the future, more so for Joshua, that he's going to face, because being so young, he's yet to see the problems that are going to happen. And I for one think that there's going to be a lot of problems in the near future, and definitely more so into as he becomes a man and tries to raise his own family. I don't bear too much faith in these massive conservation entities that currently reside on our planet. To all extents and purposes, they have become the monsters that they initially warned us about. Just in the first instance, because of their size. So many of these entities, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to be taken to court for libel, but they're so huge. They've got hundreds of offices around the world, thousands of people that work for them. So, you know, when it comes to meeting payroll, to meeting rents for offices, for marketing budgets, for the amount, web presence, that kind of stuff, all of these things that are massive expenses when it comes to corporate concerns. And many of these large conservation entities now are pretty much big corporate concerns. Obviously, they do have some benefits with regards to tax liability, etc. But that just means that they're after more and more money all the time. And we've seen it in the recent times where Conservation Group X and Corporation Y will try and marry up, and it's because Corporation Y is trying to give Conservation Entity X, 15, 20, 30 million dollars. The Conservation Group here is trying to then adjust where its goalposts are to formulate a message to try and convince us, the donors, as to why the marriage with Corporation X, Y or Z may be beneficial, even though Corporation X, Y or Z may be involved in actions that are detrimental to the health of our planet or to the decimation of wildlife. And it's seeing these kind of things happen that doesn't instill much confidence in me when it comes to the conservation entities that are currently out there. But there is a solution. There is a solution where we can take the structure that's been set up and the machinations, as it were, of a corporate giant that's been set up and work it against them, against these companies. And what I'm actually talking about is YouTube. All right, Google own YouTube. Now, this as a channel, SeaWorld Earth as a channel, generates about $100 every 3 or 4 months, I guess. It's peanuts, probably doesn't even amount to the pocket money that we give to our son. But, that is just with, like I said, 3,500 odd subscribers. As an audience on a YouTube channel expands and gets bigger, so does the ad revenue that it generates, because more eyes go onto the videos. The audience, the bigger audience, the corporations want to get their product through the ads in front of the eyes of our viewers. Okay, so my plan is to ask you to please subscribe to this channel. That's all there is to it. Throughout social media, and we've all seen it, is that people will say something like, you know, save the world, and I hate this and I hate that, which is all well and good. I mean, activism is fantastic, but activism is based on the word act, and that unfortunately is what is missing in so many cases. People are very vociferous. They'll have a big opinion on social media and all across the social media platforms, which is good, and they will retweet and share and do things that will help spread a message of conservation and highlight errors and issues facing the natural world. That's all good. That's not a problem. But when it comes to actually asking people to step up and do something, in the big part, kind of like fails a bit, and that's what I'm hoping to try and address with what I'm proposing here. I'm asking you guys to please subscribe to the channel. If you don't have a Google account, please make one. It takes 2 minutes, and then because Google owns YouTube, you just come to YouTube, you give it a subscription, and that's all. From there, you don't have to do anything. I'm not asking for donations like the conservation entities, and I'm not asking for any more action other than your subscription, okay? Because what that will do is that in itself will then help steamroll the audience to becoming bigger, and with the audience becoming bigger, the ad revenue, that grows. And what am I going to do with the ad revenue? Quite simply, I'm going to be donating it to charity, to conservation efforts throughout the world, and as it grows, initially the first projects will be for projects here in Okinawa, so that you as a viewer will be able to see how that ad revenue is being put to good use on the ground here in Okinawa with projects that are here. But then as hopefully that grows exponentially, monies will then be given to entities on the ground who are working to save particular species, or in fact to safeguard areas of land. I have actually seen one entity who is buying tracts of rainforest so that they can't fall foul of deforestation, man-made deforestation for grazing or for mineral extraction, or for palm plantations in Indonesia, for example. And so by buying land and turning it into private land and leaving it then for nature and for the wildlife, hopefully will, you know, offer a solution as big as the audience will allow for us to try and save a little bit of the planet, hopefully for our future generations to see. And hopefully by that time they would have realised the error of our ways and made amends to getting the world back on to its natural track, as it were. But yeah, that's the idea. But you may be wondering to yourself, okay, Mark, you know, you're giving us this message, but how are you then gonna survive, as it were? Well, once a YouTube channel gets to about 30,000 subscribers, there is a feature that then becomes available called membership, and it is what it says is that I would then ask those of you who are so inclined to become a member of the channel, and that membership may be $1, $2, $5 a month, and that pretty much pays my salary. Beyond that, there is also the Patreon, and Patreon, for those of you who don't know, is exactly the same thing. It allows creators to create a platform, a profile, where information will be placed on that, whether it be videos, blogs, photos, etc., etc. But all of the membership, the audience, as it were, are charged a nominal fee, $1 to $5 a month, the price of a cup of coffee and a cake on a monthly basis. And that then, like I said, just pays the salary. So, yeah, that's the idea. Subscribe and save the planet. So I'm not going to harp on too much longer. So all that remains is for me to wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay sane, and above all, stay healthy. These are indeed challenging times, and hopefully we'll meet again sometime soon here on SeaWorld Earth. Take care, guys and girls. See you soon.